and he has attended MIT graduate. He has some fantastic kids that we got to meet. Actually, his family got to meet my family on Friday over at ISIS's center, which was phenomenal. ISIS's wellness center, yes. And so I'm going to have Al go ahead and go on back to the room, and y'all know the tradition here at GNA, which is get up out of your seats, on your feet, and feel the energy, and give them some love and a big welcome to
Well, good morning. I am going to talk to you about how to speak with confidence. Who would like to speak with more confidence when you speak in public? Who doesn't like to raise their hand? Who sat next to somebody who didn't raise their hand either time? One of the fears we have is of raising our hands and being publicly noticed, but that's not anywhere near the most biggest fear in the country. People are afraid of spiders, people are afraid of heights. It will not surprise you at all to know that the #1 fear in the world is the fear of public speaking. And so we're going to teach you a few things today that you can use to directly affect the way you speak to people in public. Being a good public speaker can have a positive effect on your career, can have a positive effect on your relationships, can have a positive effect on your business. Being a not so good public speaker can have the inverse effect. So there's definitely some reasons why you want to speak out in public. Just so that I'll know, I like to know my audience, how many of you already speak in public somewhere? About half the room. How many of you want to speak in public but are afraid to do so? Okay, good. My goal today is to give you some nuggets you can use. I want to give you some specific things you can use to take away today, tonight, tomorrow, immediately. Because wherever you are in the fear of public speaking, in the comfort in public speaking, that situation is not static. The universe can change, you can change, it can become different by learning a few things, by practicing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Fritz is handing out the page for me. I've given you a place to take notes because not everybody brings note paper. But the Harvard Business Review and a number of other business organizations have studied conclusively that say that people who take notes retain more of what they learn than people who don't. So if you don't like to take notes, tough, do it anyway. I find that people like to hang hooks, ideas on hooks. Give them a chance to stick them together. So I've given you the word speak today. We're gonna fill in the word speak with some key ideas. The first thing about speaking with confidence is for S, is for set the stage. What does that mean? You got to know where you're going to be speaking, the room, the location, the topic, of course. If you're being introduced, what's that going to be like? If there's any promotional materials, what's that going to be all about? How do you want people who are coming to your event to know about you? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to feel? Why are they coming? Are they coming because they have to be, as you mentioned, or because they want to? You need to set the stage so that your audience is there because they want to hear something from you. It also helps a lot to have a topic that they care about. So if you're putting on a seminar of some kind, or you're doing a speech or a topic, you got to know your audience enough to know that whatever topic you're talking about is something they care about. So set the stage when you're speaking so that you're the local expert on whatever you're going to talk about. The P, there are actually two. They're kind of the same, but they're a little bit different spins on the same idea. Is preparation. How many of you were here when Fred spoke about a month ago? Did he? Yeah, you were here. Did he look like he had practiced his talk at all? He had studied it, he knew what he was talking about? Last week when Ludo spoke, he had a whole handout of ideas. Pretty clear that he knew what he was talking about, right?
Yeah.
He had done a little bit of research. A lot of research. A pile of research. Preparing your information is key. The more comfortable you are with the information you're going to talk about, the easier it is to talk about. But more important than preparing it is to practice it. The first time you give your speech to somebody is in front of the people. You're going to walk away, and I won't ask for a show of hands because it should be everybody. I won't ask for a show of hands on this, but if you've ever done a talk that you haven't practiced, you have walked away from it and said, I wish I had done this. I wish I had said that. I wish I had flowed in this way. You can get that same experience by practicing without an audience, with a trial audience, so that when you get to the live audience, you don't have that experience. You've covered the things, the beginning mistakes, if you will, you can fix before they come in front of a live audience. Practicing is huge. practicing in front of a mirror, practicing in front of a child, practicing in front of a friend, practicing in front of a one-on-one conversation with somebody, business associate. Anywhere you can practice will help your speaking get better. So practicing is really key. All right, the E is for eye contact. This is a self-test for me. If you think that I've made eye contact with you since I've been standing up here, please raise your hand. Look around the room, please. Okay? It's huge to connect with your audience, and we connect as people by looking them in the eye. And as a speaker, it's sometimes comfortable to come and stand somewhere out of the range of video cameras, or stand somewhere. But it's also comfortable for right-handed people to speak to the right side of the room, and for left-handed people to speak to the left side of the room. And you've probably seen speakers who talk to one section of the room, and all you ever see is their shoulder or their back. And the skill to developing eye contact that you can practice is panning the room. And it's not just scan, scan, scan. We make eye contact by connecting with people, so it's important to look at somebody for not very long, just for a second or two, see them in the eye and move on. While you're talking, this is a practice skill.
I was just gonna, what's staring? What's too long? What's too long?
What's too long?
Yeah, when you're standing.
There's not a specific rule on too long, but what I have found is that if you're focusing on one person for more than a sentence, you're starting to ignore the rest of the room. I don't find that there's a specific time involved. It's different, of course, when you're answering a directed question, when you put up a question to the audience, and somebody asks a question, you're going to spend most of your time answering the person who asked the question, but you still want to engage the rest of the audience. Which brings me to the A. The A is audience. Your audience needs to get connected to you. Your audience needs to be involved. I have the privilege during some of my corporate career of teaching adult learning theory, and learned that one of the things that we do as teachers with children is we teach them by rote. Do this, write your spelling words out 10 times, practice them, give me a test, do this. Adults don't learn that way. Adults don't learn by repetition. Adults bring real-world experiences to the situation. They bring history. Adults want to engage. Now, if you're speaking to children, you have a different opportunity to speak by rote. But mostly, we're speaking to adults. We're speaking to business owners. We're speaking to peers. We're speaking to neighbors. We're speaking to business groups. And adults bring a lot of experiences to the table. And so they want to hear how what they're doing can connect with whatever you're talking about. So when I ask about who wants to public speak, if you're speaking in front of people, you generally want some feedback from people. So eye contact's important. The last K is for keep it simple. You have all been to speeches, to seminars, to classes, where they throw an encyclopedia at you. And we don't retain that. As people, we retain 3 to 5 ideas in any kind of initial setting. It'll take a long period of time to retain a lot more than that. When people want more depth and more information, they're going to go to a website to give them one. They're going to go to your emails to give them one. They're going to go to your Bible of information to hand out. You can hand out some reference material. But do not, somebody used the word barf earlier, I'll use it, just throw everything you have at them. Because they stop listening after 3 to 5 minutes. They just can't process new information that quickly. So you got to give them information they can use and stop. Let them process it. If they want more, they come back at you. So keep it simple. Whatever your topic is, come up with the 3 to 5 nuggets you want people to know. And tell them. Do not beat the encyclopedia from the stage, because that puts people to sleep. How many of you have stood in front of an audience where people are kind of zoning out? That's not always enjoyable, is it? So you want to keep it simple in order to keep your audience involved and connected. And one of the things I've done a lot by example that I'm going to show that I shared about is feedback with the audience, dialogue, question and answer, raising hands. Anything you can do to get your audience participating in the conversation makes it a dialogue and not a speech. And if you're talking to people, how many of us love one-on-ones? All of your hands should be up. When you're one-on-one with a person, you're not public speaking, you're just sharing information, right? You're talking, you're having a good time. When you get up in front of a room, try and channel some of that same feeling. I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. And share your conversation with the people you're making eye contact with. Share your conversation with the audience. so that they have a connection with you when you leave. I gave you a piece of paper to take some notes on. The right-hand column includes what I really want you to think about today, and I want you to take a minute right now and think about it. How do you use this information? I want you to take a minute, either at your table or by yourself, and just think for a second about your next public speaking gig or the next speaking gig you'd like to have. How will you use this information to be a better speaker next time? What did you hear today that you could use to increase your confidence? And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to practice. Who would like to share what they learned? I need one volunteer.
I'll volunteer.
Come on up.
All right, Julie. Do I bring my thing?
If you'd like to.
Woo!
Yeah!
Well, don't like the camera.
Don't mess with
What did
Julie.
you learn today that you can use the next time you speak in public?
I love the set the stage and prepare.
Okay.
I think that's fabulous.
And when's your next speaking gig?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. What
I
kind
think I have one. No, that's not true. I think I. Do you have a question now?
No, if you don't have next Thursday, your next speaking gig is next Thursday.
Oh, next Thursday.
There you go. Okay. So you've learned a few things. So you set the stage and prepare.
Yes, love it.
Excellent. Thank you. Good job. Give
Oh,
her a hand.
welcome.
Anybody else want to share what they learned? You don't have to come up. Anybody learn anything specific they want to use? They want to share? Nobody learned anything?
I like the eye contact.
Eye contact. I like
I
that.
like the eye contact and the sentence kind of because what it is creates an awareness. Like you're not just talking something that you performed or you've done 100 times, but you're actually connecting and you're aware, you're in the moment right then.
Good. Okay.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay. You have one more thing?
It kind of ties into keeping it simple and knowing what your audience is and not throwing up on them is the preparation and, making sure, because a lot of times if you're not prepared, you'll go into back mode rather than benefit mode because you know all the facts. It's just speaking to their benefit.
Okay. Do you have something, Fred?
Yeah, now, you talked about practice, and I'm a great singer in the shower.
I love that. That's the ball right there.
But when I record myself in the shower, it doesn't sound like me. So when you practice, it's good to record yourself.
Yes. That's a good tip.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I like the audience portion about engaging and having it be interactive and relevant. I thought that was really helpful.
All right. Yes.
I think, I know this, but I think it's good to remind us is about topics. And when you're a presenter, as far as picking the right topics and being topic driven, because every time I speak or I have colleagues that speak, it's like we always think about what we want to do, but it's like, what does your audience need and want, and what does the market demand? And they always come and fill the room when you're speaking about a relevant topic that's relevant to them. And it's like taking the pulse and getting outside of yourself and finding out what your audience wants. Because they always come for the right topic.
Very good.
So, thank you for reminding me about that.
My pleasure. A couple of little tips just on general preparation for speaking. What you wear generally isn't critical, but if you wear something that's well below the audience that you're talking to, it will make a difference. You will get viewed in a negative way. That doesn't mean you have to wear a suit and formal dress to everything you speak to, but it means you have to dress appropriately. You have to be neat and clean, obviously. Many of you who speak, and I've seen this here, I've seen it lots of other places, it's not a condemnation or indictment, it's just the way it is. We use the word as a verbal pause. How many of you notice when you're in the audience, if the speaker says you stop paying attention? Okay. Is a verbal pause. So all you have to do as a speaker is pause. Just don't say it. If I pause, I look reflective, I look contemplative, I look like I'm preparing my next thought. Right? If I say you think I'm lost. Right? So if you feel the need to say the word out of your speech during your presentation, just bite down on it and think. Smile. Look at your note card. By the way, some of you noticed maybe I have note cards. Note cards are totally cool. You have a topic that you want to maintain, and you got a time you want to maintain it into. Keep notes. It's not reflective at all negatively. It's worse if a speaker goes over. It's worse if a speaker misses a topic. It's worse if you don't keep it in the same flow. You know, people take notes. Presidential candidates speak from teleprompters.
Yep.
Right? They do that not because they can't memorize speeches, because that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the delivery. So keep the information handy that you need. Obviously, don't keep a 12-page scripted word for word what you're going to say. The best note cards that you can keep are outlines, nuggets, ideas, because you want the words to come from you. Practice the words, of course, but you want the words to come from you. You don't want to be literally reading from a card, because that tunes people out. Any other questions?
No question, I just want to commend you on the handout. That's really important when you speak, give people a handout so they have your information, they can note. I think that's powerful.
Thank you. All right, on the back, because I'm an environmentalist and I hate to waste a blank piece of paper, is a series of things that I do in my business coaching practice. If you know somebody or if you know yourself would like to hear about one of those topics, give me a call. I'm not going to hard sell it. But that's when I filled it out.